When it comes to rates, you have 3 different rates. We're going to start right now on the screen. We have the basic rate. This is the information we use. If there's no other information, this is your baseline. That's all the time, all around the year. We just use that rule. So here you have to define your basic night rate. If you have a different weekend rate, you can inform it here. You will see in blue, for that specific account, we enter the net price, meaning in blue we will display the price that the guest is going to pay with all the commission added to it. Then you can enter the rules. For that specific case, the place can welcome up to 8 people, but that property manager decided to charge an additional fee for additional persons. So it costs a certain price for 2 people, and then more and more guests are coming, the more and more the price will rise per guest. This can be edited, and the same again, we show you in blue what will be the price for the guests on the different channels. You then have to edit your minimum and maximum stay. So here you want to keep in mind this is the basic rule. So that would basically be for your lowest season, because we're going to come into this into a second. The seasonal rate will be what you'll be using for the highest point of the year or the very specific moment in your area. So as a basic rule, we want to be flexible. I would also give an advice as like, keep in mind that discounts may be applying on your basic rate. So do not put the minimum to cover your cost. Maybe be a little bit higher so that you're ready to absorb a 10% discount if you have one that's set up, but it's good to keep that in mind. I have set up minimum stay of 1 night, so to again stay very flexible, and then a maximum stay to the maximum number of nights because I don't mind, they can stay long. The check-in days, which day you can welcome people or which day they can check out. Basic rule, I would like to stay again as flexible as possible, so I put every single day. You can here decide that you can only welcome people on during the days of the week. That would not be an issue to set up in the builder, but maybe not my recommendations. Outside of that basic rate, that's the baseline that's always informed for us, we have the seasonal rates. You decide how many seasonal rates you would like to have. You can have a lot, or you can have only a few. I would recommend for this to be aware of the events in your area, your highest point in the year, your lowest point in the year. So you can go lower than your basic rate. If you have, let's say, a period of 2-3 weeks, a month, where it's extremely quiet and you'd rather have guests and almost lose money than to not have guests, you can set up a special rate just for that. So the way you can create one is just by going to add seasonal price rules. In here, we have something that looks a lot like the basic rate rules, except here we can name it. We're going to call it test 2. We're going to just choose a period of the year that's available. So here I can see I don't have a seasonal price set up. So here there will be the basic rule apply. But maybe I do not want that basic rule, it's too cheap for me. So I'm going to select this area of the year, this time of the year, where I do not want to use the basic rules. Here I want to be 200 euros a night, 230 euros in the weekend, just examples. The minimum stay, well, that's a bit special, it's a bit higher time. I want to have guests coming for a bit longer period. So 4 nights. The maximum stay, again, I don't mind, they can stay as long as they want. They can check in every single day, or we can change that to only have check-in on Mondays, for example, or Tuesdays. Once again, my recommendation, based on my experience, the more flexible you are, the more you're going to generate bookings. So try to stay open about this. This box we have at the bottom, allow combination with longer stay discount. It's important to be aware that that will mean that if you have a discount set up for 7 nights, 14 nights, 21 nights, 28 nights, those are options also in the builder to be competitive, you might not want those discounts to apply on your seasonal rates. If you leave it unticked, there will be no longer stay discount available for that season. So I don't want people to get discounts for that period, so they don't get it. Here you see appearing test 2, which is a season we just we created together. We can copy the seasons. It is important to have seasons over just a 1 year period of time. You might not be certain in 2024, 2025, or a long time in the future about your prices or the availability of the properties you're renting. I would recommend it is better to have a seasonal rate that's quite high, and maybe with strict rules like you have to stay 10 days or you can only check in on those specific days. It's important to rather have a too high seasonal rate but have your calendar open for the future for the different channels we put your listings on than to have blocks in the calendar. The channels are sensitive to this, it could impact your rating. So try to stay open and visible. You will still appear in search, but that way you ensure that if a booking comes through, you have a margin to play with that guest to be able to relocate the reservation, or at the very least, they can just see your listings and see that you exist on there. So that's it for the seasonal rates. You can copy over the few years. So we see here I have 2022, 2023, 2024. I decided to have test, low, high. You can create as many as you want. And again, be aware, there might be in your area an event or something that happens during a weekend or a week. You might want to have a special seasonal rate for that specific period. Now we're going to switch to the calendar view. So here we have left the builder. We have all the listings with the prices per night that appear in the calendar. We're going to talk about the custom rate price. So we have the basic that's always there, then the seasonal rate that's periodically here for specific events or time of the year. Now you might have a smaller opportunity. Here in this example, we have a listing where one night is available between the Monday and Tuesday. There's the same price, but maybe the rules that we've put in our basic rate or in our seasonal rate don't allow people to book only one night. Well, by clicking on the calendar on that specific listing, I can set a custom rate. That allows me to change the price for the night. So in here, I'm going to do 100 instead of 200 because I really want to book that one night. I can put a minimum stay of one night. The maximum stay is not going to impact it because the dates we choose, it's only one night. Here we are. The check-in date is not going to be impacted because it's only one night. I can write a private note for myself. You can just say it's a special discount only for this one night. Here, I can copy and paste on other listings, which allow you to maybe set up a custom rate for all of your portfolio if that's necessary for a special event. Because you don't have to go lower, you can also go higher. You just realize that there's a football game in your town that weekend and you want to really raise the price because there's a lot of demand coming in. You can just do that for one night or 2 nights. We're just going to set up that example. Here you go, it's successful. And we now see that there's a red dot on my calendar. That's just a visual to remind me that this is a custom rate. This is very, it's like dots in your calendar, right? You just want to use this a little bit and for very specific moments. We can see we have another example later that maybe we can use to sell those 2 nights in between longer bookings. You can do this on longer period also. But if it starts to be too long, I would recommend to do a seasonal rate, just because the custom rates, they are extremely flexible, available for a very one night if you want. They're very visual from a calendar, but they're quite manual. So if you're going to do more than a few nights, I would maybe recommend to create a season so that you can repeat it every year. You can copy and paste it quite easily on the other listings. If I want to get rid of that custom rate, I can modify it here or restore the basic rate. I am now back to normal on that one night that we selected. I'm just going to go back for a second to the seasonal rate because I forgot to tell you something. On the seasonal rate, we see that in the builder in general, on the right, we have this little light bulb, and that is just to copy the settings on other listings. It's to avoid repeating the same tasks again and again. Here you can easily transfer the selected settings, so you don't have to choose, or you can just choose the one high season that's the same for all the listings because you're in the same area, and you can select all of your properties and copy the settings. That will then apply to all of those settings. I would recommend to really have a plan in mind, set up your basic rates, your basic rules. Then take a calendar and split out your seasons. What's happening during the year, if there's a special event, if there's a summer that's a high season, if there's ski holidays, to just split the year just in dates. Then take one of your listings and just enter all of those dates, create all the seasons, copy and paste it, so that at least the year after that you already have them. And once this is done, copy settings on other listings, if they are in the same area, of course, and just enter in each of those listings to fill in the blanks or the specific rates or the specificity of each property. But at least you have cut the year in the dates that matters for you. There is no specificity involved per channel, because this is just the basic information, the price on your annual calendar. You probably are familiar with synchronization, those blue lines, which are data that we receive from an external calendar. But Your Rental can easily communicate with all the big channels, all of our partners, so we are sending them the data on the price per night. So if you change the season, the custom rate, or your basic rate, that's more for you to be organized. For us, really, as information to send, it's always the same, it's just that night is that price. So it doesn't really impact which channel we are talking about. If you get a booking that is made a year in advance and you're not ready at that point with your seasonal rates, that's a cancellation you have to make if the guest doesn't agree with the price change. And those cancellations, they affect your ratings, and they might even be fee involved. How does the seasonal rate compound with the discounts? They are very close to each other. We have some discounts that are going to be the longer stay discounts. We saw that earlier. There's this little box that we can tick or not at the end of our seasonal rate to decide if such discounts can be applied. So that's for the length of the stay. You can try to push guests to stay 1 or 2 nights more if you offer a discount for that length. This you can decide or not if it's applied to the season. Once again, same as your basic rate, keep in mind that there still might be discounts that are applied. Early bird and last minute, for example. So if you have an early bird that's set up for 12 months, so someone that books a year in advance will get 10% discount. You have to be aware of this and either build into your price the space to be able to absorb that discounts, but you should never be at your bare minimum when you enter the prices on the builder, because discounts might be applied, such as early bird and last minute. There's also the special discount, which is for mobile devices. This doesn't apply to every channel, but it applies to Booking.com, Expedia, and Agoda. So they are quite big channels, so you will get bookings that have this discount. So same again, be aware that 10% discount might happen. Now I can hear the next question coming. What if someone books early and from a mobile device? They do not get a 20% discount. They get only 10% discount. The discounts do not accumulate. So if you allow the longer stay discounts and someone books 7 nights a year in advance from a mobile, it is not 10 plus 10 plus 10, it's only 10 that will be applied. Nevertheless, in your booking rules, we offer you the chance to give discounts to push guests to have maybe a more strict cancellation policy. This is not considered a discount, such as the early bird, so that will be accumulated. So if you have a seasonal rate and someone has the early bird discount and decide to do the non-refundable in that case, which also offer a discount, that will all accumulate and that will be applied to your seasonal rate.